Good evening, welcome to another episode of Easy8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, says it right down there. Hope you've all been well. I've had another week of holiday where I've done pretty much nothing because that's who I am and that's what I do. I've been using the time to get a little bit more done on the Martian robot that I've been painting over the last few weeks, and I dare say that I'm at a point where I'm going to be finishing him. So today is really exciting for me. I don't feel that I finish projects nearly enough as I should do, or ever. Sometimes that's what kind of feels like. It's the whole point of the show is that we've all got stuff that we don't paint, we want to paint, but we never get around to painting it for whatever reason. It's the whole point of why we're here. So for me to kind of get to a point where I'm ready to call this model done is really exciting for me. I hope you guys are bringing some sort of good news today, or if you're going to be bringing some projects to kind of get done. Maybe you're halfway through something, maybe you're succeeding, maybe you've got something done, maybe you're going to finish something today as well, or maybe it's not been so good and you're kind of coming here to look for reasons and stuff to do, man. If you are new here, Easy8 isn't a tutorial by any stretch of the imagination. There's loads of that stuff that's already out there. Go and find those people because they're really cool as well. I just kind of have this show where you can kind of come along. It's a painting club, right? You can just kind of bring stuff along, make some friends, chat to these guys over there. There's just one in there at the moment. We've got Jeff. That's my dad. Hi, Dad. Thanks for supporting me lonely today. Yeah, come along, make some friends, bring along your projects. If you're really interested, you can start putting some photographs of your stuff up on the Facebook page, because we're on Facebook as well as Instagram, and we're also on the Discord family as well. So if you want to come and join me and the community at the end of the show at the Discord, at the Easy8 after party on Discord rather, then the links to all of those platforms are just down there in the description of this video. I had a piece of chocolate right before I started. I thought I'd treat myself. Well, it's made my throat go all bubbly. Staff has come to join us. Good evening. Hi, Staff. Nice to see you again, mate. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so if you like what we do here, maybe consider liking, following, and sharing. Get the name of Easy8 out there. But, you know, we're mostly here on YouTube. So if you do like what we do, do please share and subscribe, because every little bit that you do makes me kind of grow this show. It gets it well more known. The more people that subscribe, the better. You know the deal. I didn't want to be doing all this, hey, guys, you should be subscribing all the time. But it really does help. So please, mash that button or just hit it once. Just safe to be sorry, right? Just once, that'd be great. And yeah, then you can kind of join me in the community and do some painting stuff, because we've all got those massive piles of unpainted stuff that we all, need to kind of just get done, and that's what we're here for. So today, I've done so much stuff over the last few days since the last show, basically, that I'm actually possibly going to run out of stuff to do on this one particular model. That's not so likely though, is it? Is it? I don't know. I can make it last for a long time. I have finished all of the weathering on this robot, and I think it's a little bit too much. It does look really good. It is really effective, and I've been showing it to people who've been visiting, coming around or whatever, and I've been putting pictures of it on Facebook, etc. And I think it's a bit too much, but everyone else says, oh, you're just your own worst critic. I just think it looks a little bit busy. What I'll do now is I'll take you over to the workbench so you can see exactly what it is that I've been working on. Here we go. Here we are. So here is my little Martian robot. I've had to kind of reposition the camera around a little bit today, so if focuses aren't working, or it's not zoomed in enough, do let me know. If you remember back last week, I'm going for a fixed focus rather than an auto zoom, or an autofocus rather. So if it's not looking so great, just give me a shout. Let me know in the live chat over there with this crazy bunch. Crazy bunch, just a duo at the moment, but there's normally more than that. Yeah, so he looks really cool. I'm really happy with it. I just think I can do better. So if you remember, I was talking about where I did the damage here, or the weathering on this little plate here. I think that looks really good, especially up close. And then, so I did this kind of side of him and the shoulder, and I did around the back, and I think that all looks really, really good. And then the following week, I did this side and his arms, and then went down the leg. And then during the Discord after party, I did this side of him as well. And because I went quite heavy here, I'll get my paintbrush to point out, go in here and here, you can see where I've been quite heavy. I think that sort of drove me to continue being heavy all the way around. And in some places I think it looks really good, but less is more, right? Less is more. Something that I've always been preaching on the show. You don't have to do it just because it's there. I've also discovered that too much silver can be quite an eyesore, can be quite distracting. I wanted to do all the silver on his hands because, well, they're his main weapon, right? So the idea is that he goes around smashing things up. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. I didn't do any rusting on them because I think that sort of damage would be constant and would be constantly rubbing away any sort of rust, etc. that's there. As where, like on the shoulders, there's a little bit of silver and a little bit of rust, and then on the chest there's just the tiny little bits of silver where, you know, maybe incoming shots and things like that. A little bit of scuffing on the legs, for example, but very minimal elsewhere. Just a few bits and pieces, here and there along some of the edges and things, just to kind of give it a little bit more substance, I suppose is the right word. What I didn't really like was the head, because it was black. I like the colour black. I think it works well. I think it works well in this whole get-up. But it was very difficult to get the colour brown or the shade of brown. So like it's a very dark brown. Didn't stand out against the black, as you can imagine. And trying to put the brown on there didn't show up at all. So I just went with quite a heavy weathering of silver, and I think that looks okay. Again, a bit too much perhaps, maybe some in just patches. It looks pretty good on the gun. Where the silver is spotted, you can see that it's a very different silver to the silver on the barrel here, and I'm not entirely sure if I like that. Where you've kind of got the engine or whatever, and I've done that black filter all over it and on the arms and on the legs, the shiny silver stands out, but I thought actually if that is freshly scratched up metal, it might look like that. But otherwise, I think it looks okay. I was going to do the little basket that holds the ammo box in gold, but I thought that was just too much gold, and it would just be, if you think about it, probably just silver. Just to kind of, you know, make it stand out a little bit. And I kept the ammo box black as well. Didn't want to go over the top. There was no real need to go too far there. I did a little bit of gold on the barrel here. This was to match my friend's robot that he painted, and I really like that. He's done an extra ring, I've just done the two. I think that looks really good. I did do the muzzle to match some of the infantry that I've got, where some of their rifles, most of their rifles have got a gold muzzle, but it looked too much, so I just kind of took that away and went back again. So today, what I've got to do really is I've just got to finish up the belt here, because I just kind of put the first layer on and washed it down. I did a very, very slight different gold colour on there, so a polished gold rather than a glorious gold. And when I first put them on, they looked really good, but actually I might as well just do them all the same. I don't know. It just, if you're going to do a gold, right? I've done a little bit of gold work on the pipes down here on the engine. I think they look really, really cool. So I've got to finish up these little icons here. There's one on the back, and there's one on the side of that, on the hand here. I've blocked the colours in with a little bit of white and a little bit of black. I need to do those layers again. Just to kind of solidify their opacity. That was a very tongue-twisty sentence to say, but you get what I'm trying to say. What I do have to be careful about is that they have a three-dimensional profile to them, meaning that they stand up away from the surface that they are mounted on. I am not that good to get paint accurately on the sides of these, so I often cheat by putting a dark wash, maybe a black wash or something like that in there to sort of fill the gap. It's a little bit cheating, one of those things that in future models perhaps I will try to work on to make it better. So I've got to do those icons. I've also, so I'm going to finish the belt as well up there. I've also got to finish off the faceplate here, which I'm really happy with. Originally I wanted one of those swirly wave patterns, like it was an oscilloscope. You know what I mean by oscilloscope. If I turn the light away, stop it from shining, because it has got a slightly glossy screen on there, you can see what I mean. I started doing a little cross on there, thinking that then I would do the oscilloscope across it, but oscilloscopes don't generally have that cross hatch on them. And I spent quite a while trying to freehand that in. So what I might do is just turn that one into a crosshair, because I want all of my robots to have a slightly different screen. And I'll do a future one with an oscilloscope on it. I'll do one with like a heart rate monitor, which I thought would be quite cool, like a heartbeat. I don't know why, it just looks good. And then I don't know, on a fourth one perhaps I'll do something a little bit more different. Perhaps I'll do like an offset targeting thing, I don't know, or maybe some text. That looked pretty cool. I had to mix up my own greens to get the right sort of thing in mind, something to stand out away from the black but not to go too bright with the background. I wanted like an old-fashioned, almost like LCD green background for it, and then like a nice light green over the top. And I will have to re-establish that sort of line in there again, just because it's a little bit rubbish basically, and it needs to be a bit better. And then it's the base, and that is literally it. That is all that's left to do. Anything else is probably just being a bit pedantic with it, and frankly I need to call it done. So that's what I'm doing. Don't forget to let me know what it is that you're painting this evening. I genuinely am interested. So drop it over there in the live chat if you're watching retrospectively, or you prefer your privacy. You can stick it down there in the comment section. I read everything. And if you want to put some photographs up, you can just put them into the comments underneath the listing for today's show. I've been told by some guys in the community that Facebook still isn't allowing you to put your photos up on the mentions or a community tab like you've always been able to, and I don't know why that is, but you can just comment your photos to today's schedule. That's what we've been doing for the last few weeks, so please do that, or go and drop them over at Discord, or do both. You know, Jeff says, I like him. I know what you mean about OTT with a new process. You find it's very easy to overuse it, but I like him. Yeah, I really like him. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm opening myself up to taking my time, and not just taking my time on a particular model, but to take my time to have patience while I'm learning. You know, if I'm learning to do something, I'm not going to be able to do it straight away. This is a very good attempt on my first go. Really happy with it. But on the next one, I'm going to try and keep the amount of weathering down to about the amount that's here on this chest piece here, so that he won't look so busy. Bigger models might look really good that busy, but he is proper smashed up, right? He's really good though. I really do like him. Anyway, I'm gonna have a little sip of tea. Excuse me. Lovely. Staff says, looking good. Don't overdo him. You have more to do. You're absolutely right. I do have more to do. I've got a box of them just here on the side. So, without further ado, I think I'm going to stay simple for now, and I'm just going to get the ammo belt here done. So, where is my gold? I've been using a couple of golds here. I've been using glorious gold for all my standard golds, and I was using polished gold for the ammo. You can see there's quite a difference there. To fill in the creases between them, I did use a Seraphim Sepia, and I think I filtered the colour of it. I'm going to give them one more go in this one, because I do like, I've got 2 golds, might as well use them. But if it goes all wishy-washy, then whatever, I'll just go straight to my other gold colour. But like Staff says, don't overdo it. Yeah. Anyway, got to give this one a good old shake. I used it the other day, it was really watery because I barely used this gold. So some sad news just before we went live. About an hour or two before we went live, Robbie Coltrane, the actor, died at 72 today. So rest in peace, Robbie Coltrane. Been an actor throughout my life, through all sorts of programs when I was a kid, right up to being in Harry Potter as Hagrid, of course. Sad days. So here we go, just for Stafford. Gonna give this one now, giving it a good shake, gonna give him a good old waz on the Easy 8 Waz-O-Matic. You know it. Staff says, I'm building more Panzers. I don't have a problem. Honest, you do have a problem. We know this, it's established. You've got a German tank obsession within 15mm. Here we go. Right, give that a good old waz. Let's just put a drop of that on my palette, which lately is in dire need of a jolly good clean. Right, going to be going to my number 0 Raphael Kalinski, which I've almost got the sticky patch off from the barcode label. Okay, so I'm going to bring my lights in a little bit because it's a little bit dull here. And remember, if you can't see very well, my lights are too bright, my music is too loud, or the camera's out of focus, just say. Oh, got a bit of a shaky hand. I do actually like this colour for the ammo belt. So hopefully it all looks good by the end of it. And I'll keep this colour. But if it doesn't look as good as I want it to, then I can just go to the old gold. Because it's a colour that I know and trust. And I think the problem I had with it the other day is that when I put it on the model, so I don't think it was shaken up well enough. So it went on a little bit watery. When the pigment is separated away from the medium a little bit. And it didn't coat very well. And then when I put the sepia tone over the top to filter it, and to run into the cracks to define the bullets more, I think it just changed the colour of them to the point where you couldn't really tell what they were. Or not to the point where they were, but you can tell that the colour was different, rather. I see that Dave has joined us. Hi Dave, hope you're doing well, mate. Thanks for coming along this evening. You do have a problem. So you'll agree with that. Yeah, you do. For anybody who's just coming after Dave, doesn't have a problem with me. Stafford has a problem with tanks. Hey man, if you like it, collect it, right? The heart wants what the heart wants, man. Oh, went a bit too heavy there. It's okay, I'm going to go in a minute and I'm going to neaten up the edges with a black, and that is the edges where the ammo belt sits in the middle. It's quite hard to see at this close, and with my autofocus off, it kind of goes out a bit fuzzy there, but you get the idea. Okay, that's looking pretty good. The reason I was really into this gold over the other one is because it stood out nice and bright. Because it's quite a bit lighter than the other gold, it's quite shiny. And I just kind of wanted it to stand out as a part of the weapon. Like if you've got a plasma coil on a plasma gun, you kind of want that to stand out. Because that's what it's there for, right? That's what it does. So let me just wash that out with my paintbrush, because I think I'm done with that colour. I'm going to leave that to dry just for a second. I don't want to like be mixing black in around it while it's still drying, but I'm going to come to my black because now I'm going to be going over to the cog icon on the back over here. I'm going to do the black first. I should do the white first, but I think I'm more likely to make a mistake with the... Just going to do the black first in my hand. Just going to do it. Just going to go for it. You can't stop me. There we go. So I can see when I turn them sideways there's a slight orangey tint to the edge of that cog icon, and it really bothers me. I've managed to get black on this side over here, but white's a bit harder. So yeah, one of those things I'll be doing today is trying my best to cover that three-dimensional side of the cog icon. This one is slightly larger on this side. My chair is quite creaky today. I'm just going to bring my light a bit closer. There we go. Bleach the colour out on the screen. I'm really sorry. The problem I've got is that I can't see the bristles when they get in close. However, I'm doing a pretty good job of it right now, so that's making me pretty happy. Okay. I'm pretty chuffed with where we're going here. Half and half, remember. Okay, so that's one side of the cog done. That was pretty quick. And now just side of the skull here. What I have thought might be a good idea is to come in with a really dark grey, but light enough to stand out against the black, and just run it across like the eye socket of the skull, just to sort of make it stand out a bit, because small pitted details disappear in such a small piece of black. Just going to add just a tiny touch of water there, just to get the flow of the paint working a bit better in my favour. Jeff says Panzers all look the same, shot full of 18-pound holes and on fire. gotta get the elusive shoot dice, says Staff, referring there of course to What a Tanker. Okay, pretty happy with the black there as well. That's looking alright. I have just remembered that I also need to get in close and do the hoses on the backs of the legs and arms, because I decided to paint little silver sockets for them to sit into, and they stand out quite a bit on the backs of the orange parts of the leg. And when I was doing silver, I went over onto the hose itself. So I'm just going to go back in, tidy that up there, and then what I have done with the hoses, I did paint them Corvus black, which is a very, very dark grey, and then I stained them with Nuln oil. And under the lights it looked okay, it looked pretty good. It was like an idea I had in my head, and it seemed to work alright. But then, outside of the studio, you couldn't tell, and it just looked like they'd been base painted. And visitors have been saying, hey Danny, you should probably do this slightly differently. So what I'm going to do is just paint them all black, like this. And then I'm going to dry brush them with a grey, probably the same grey that I'm going to attempt to add a bit of highlight to the cog icon. There we go. I can see the difference between the black and the greyed version there, but on its own, it's really hard to say, really hard to see the difference. And while I'm at it, I'll go onto this one here. I'll do all the hoses now, just waiting for those little bits to dry that I've just done. As I'm going to handle the model, I don't want to rub any of the paint off, because that would make me sad. Quite a bit of silver in there, bit of a mess that one. Just in there. Some more comments going in. Jeff says, yeah, but them cats do make a big target. You do have bigger cats as well, says Dave. I'm making Danny some bocage. That's where the tigers go to die. And Dave says they do blow up all the same anyway. Yes, so Jeff, my dad, is making me some 15mm interlocking or interconnected bocage and road sets and whatever, which is something I'm very grateful for, because it will add such an extra element to the game. And if you are not familiar with my dad, or you haven't heard of him, you should do, because he owns and runs Purple Line Creations. And of course I'm going to sing his praises because he's dad, right? And you should do that. But he is actually very good and is world known. And what he does is he makes bespoke bits of terrain, buildings, features, anything that you want, all built to your specifications. And he's particularly good at it as well. Always got something in the pipeline as well. Always something. There's never a day where you're not working. And if you're interested, you should go and have a look at what he does, because he's got a Facebook page and a website. So if you're interested, go and have a little look. Along with other people, there's loads of links and things down in the description of this video to Purple Lion Creations with my dad and other people who I've met or spoken with. And I'd just like to kind of give them the opportunity, well, not give them the opportunity, I like the fact that I have the opportunity to kind of talk about them and just, you know, plug their business a little bit and say, hey guys, you should go and check these guys out, because there's so many talented people out there that I think it's a crime that we don't know about them. And if you do know about them, yay for you. And I think it's a crime to not have your war games table filled with good-looking terrain. We all start out somewhere for sure. We've all been there. We have a stack of books under a piece of green cloth to make a hill, and all fighting around the giant Coke cans and things like that. We've all been there for sure. But after some time, you want your tabletop looking good, right? That's the whole point of it. You're playing in a little world. Go make it a cool world. You spend all this time. Like years, a good portion of our lives, trying to do the best jobs we can and painting our miniatures and making them look the best we can. To be fighting on, you know, in and around Pringles tins is a bit sacrilegious, really, if you want my opinion. But like I say, I get the fact that we all start somewhere. But yeah, go and have a look at some of these guys that sell some really good stuff and make some really good stuff and sell it to you. Cool, I've redone the hoses. They look kind of cool actually, like that. Quite like them. The light kind of catches them and does a little bit of highlighting for me. Confliction. Darren has joined us. Hi Darren, how you doing, buddy? Starting to get a bit of a fuller live chat now. That's quite exciting, isn't it? Darren. It's Jeff Darren. It's very British of us, Darren. We were just talking to Steph about how well tigers burn. Jeffrey, welcome to England. Tea. There you go. Right, okay, over to the other cog. So with this one you can see that the white, maybe you can see the white looks a little bit dirtier, if you will. Out of focus a little bit there, but the reason for that is it was very hard to get in and around the cog icon. It's actually got a lower profile than this one here, making it even more difficult. So I just stuck a little bit of Agrax Earthshade, I think it was, on there. What it also allowed me to do was to see the edges of the skull, because it was also white. I was struggling to see the actual raised detail of the skull, and I needed to find out where it was. So what I'm going to do now is just go in and hit the black one more time like I did in the other icon, and then with the white I'll go in a minute and just kind of tidy it all up and get rid of that brown colour so that it looks nice and fresh. Darren says they do go pop very spectacularly. It's like a fireworks, celebration of fireworks and a fanfare for when you do take it out, because they're so damn hard to kill. You deserve a little fireworks, right? A little bit of pomp. I killed 2 of them with a firefly a little while ago. That was great. Pew pew. I managed to find that elusive shoot button. The 17-pounders, man. You'd be surprised how much of a storm a tiger can shrug off, even if it is a firefly or other similar sort of gun. They can still take a pounding. Excuse me while I don't breathe. Whew. go. That's made it a bit closer. There's a little bit there that wasn't quite close enough to the side of that skull, and it was standing out, and once I saw it I couldn't unsee it. And even though it's one of those little details that perhaps no one else will ever see, because I've seen it and it's been the thing that I'm painting, every time I look at it my eyes will be drawn to that little bit every single time, and it'll be like a reminder. Okay, so now it's just the skull. Why these guys couldn't have had like a black skull and a white cog, or the other way around, and had to go half and half is beyond me. Okay, let's add a bit more water to that black. Again, just get the flow of it going. Starting to dry a little bit in my brush as well, I think. Just last little bit now. That's probably a bit too much water there, let's just dry that off. There we go, that's better. Gotta think paint flow all the time. Okay, that's looking particularly good. What I'm going to do now is just going to head back up to the ammo belt at the top, or the bullet belt, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to just neaten that up. Again, because I hit this with the sepia to define the little creases between the bullets to make them stand out more, is that sepia ran over the black and made it look quite dirty, and just stopped it from being such a straightforward black, made it less defined. So I'm going in now just to tidy that up, make it stand out a bit more. And also where I've just kind of gone in and highlighted the gold, I've been a bit messy with it. So I'm just cutting that gold back a bit. I might need to come back in and do a bit more black on it later. Oh no, I am getting it, I am getting it. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like it. Nice. There's still not enough definition to those bullets for my liking, so what I might do is maybe hit it with a little bit of Nuln Oil. The new recipe is really working for me. I really like it. It's been very easy to work with. All the problems that I've had with Nuln Oil in the past is it seems to be gone with this new recipe. It looks exactly the same, in a slightly bigger pot than the old smaller ones, but slightly smaller than the old bigger ones. So yay! But still, absolutely brilliant recipe. Does everything that you want it to do, or what I want it to do anyway. Adrian Dean has joined us. Hi Adrian, how you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you for ages. Greetings, one and all. Katie is on hiatus while I work on the Age of Darkness box set. Age of Darkness box set? What is that? I don't know. I would love to know. Please tell me. Age of Darkness box set sounds dark. Some people going in there saying hi, Dino. How's that King Tiger coming on? Oh yeah, the KT, the King Tiger. I understand now. I thought KT you were referring to a person. But now I reflect on it, that makes absolutely zero sense. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Cool. So, white now, I suppose, on those cogs, because it is 7:35 already, and I said that I was going to try and get this bad boy done today. I do believe it was a promise to myself that I'd made, and to you, and it takes me a long time to do tiny bits of black, apparently. Okay. Right, so Let's just neaten up the edge of this skull here. That's looking pretty good. I can actually see the difference that made with every brush stroke. Excellent. I've got a rogue bristle. Try and tame that into place with a little bit of paint. Success. Okay, try and be very careful about where I handle it now, because obviously I've just done other bits on there. And now this cog icon too. Much success so far. Right, now I'm going to just try and do, like I was saying earlier on, the three-dimensional sides, the profile of him. Turns out I can do it, but it does need a bit more paint on the bristle. Tis the Horus Heresy Starter box set. So that will be the Age of Darkness, Horus Heresy. So 30k essentially. I've been seeing some of the new releases, some of the new kits, plastic kits for the Blood Angel Space Marines with all the new, really cool, super detailed helmets and things. I think it looks wonderful. And I've not played the game. I think it would be great to have a go, because apparently it plays quite differently to 40k. While there are similarities, as you might expect, it plays quite differently, and there's a lot of people that say they prefer it over 40k. Not that you'll ever be able to get me to change my mind about 40k, like it's my one true love really in terms of games. You see what I did there? I had to say in terms of games in case my partner came back and watched this. She doesn't watch this show, but you know that this would be the one episode. You know it, wouldn't you? Hi John, I see John's joined us from Out of This World Models and Minis. Hello all. Hello mate, how doing? Well, if you are familiar or not even familiar with John from Out of This World Models and Minis, he's got his own YouTube channel. It's called Out of This World Models and Minis, and there's a link just down there in the description. And recently has just done some wonderful content on one of his videos, making a Star Wars drone and like scout bike thing. I can never remember what you call it. I'm so sorry, John. But I watched both the videos and they are absolutely fantastic. Go and have a little look. John just paints whatever he wants, whatever he likes the idea of at the time, and I value that. See, what I've done is I've got a little bit over the top there with the white, and I've kind of just gone in between two cogs, and it's just stands out a bit too much and I can't seem to wash it away. So what I'm gonna do is be a bit cheeky and go in with a little bit of black. I'm just going to drop it in between the two, and hopefully, here we go, nice. Oh, look at that, that's come out really well. Wicked. So John's also saying, well, as I say, also saying, has also put up a picture on his personal profile on Facebook of the George Powell Martian from War of the Worlds back in 1957. I've said so many times on this show that War of the Worlds is my favourite story. It's not even a favourite story to me, it's an obsession. And like, I'm just bonkers about the concept, the story, the feel, everything about it. So whether it's true or accurate to the novel or not, I'm gonna like it. And of course, it was the first visualization, like, you know, on TV that I saw of War of the Worlds, despite it being 1950s America and not Victorian England, and they were flying saucer things rather than tripods. It was still a brilliant film, and I still really enjoy it even to this day. And The Martian is completely different from the book, but it's so iconic for sci-fi. And John's got this beautiful I'm going to say it's a bust, but it's kind of more than a bust. It's kind of from the trunk up, really, isn't it? It's everything that you see of it, but it's got like a transparent eye, so you can put all the lights inside, and then but you can tint the eye to all the different colours. It's going to look amazing, and John said that I'm going to be fascinated by the video, and I am really excited. So keep your eye out. Keep your mono eye out. Speeder bike. Yeah, speeder bike, Darren. Yeah, why not? Adrian says templates are back in the Age of Darkness. There's a point of much contention, huh? Do you know, in 40k, I like what they did with all the weapons, and you know what they did in the absence of taking out the templates was a good idea in some ways, but I miss putting a template down. It does mean that you can bunch all your troops up a bit more, because when you get a template weapon, you get like kind of one hit with it, and anything that's underneath kind of gets touched. You get the dice of death on you. But in real world, if you're going up against something that's kind of blasty, you can't probably want to crowd up so that you don't kind of get all hit. Maybe I'm just saying things now, but I like the idea of not forcing yourself to have to spread out just so that you can avoid being hit by a grenade or by a flamethrower or something. But I do miss the templates. Because it is possible to get everybody with that flamethrower. But in the absence of those templates, it's kind of like a dice roll up to a certain amount, isn't it? And also, I just like the physical thing of putting a template down. It makes it look like there's pew pew coming out the end of your gun. Okay, that's the cog done there. Now for the skull. There's a little black dot on the top of him there, and I don't remember if that was a bit of paint that went a bit over the top, or if it was where I was trying to clean it up, and I scratched a little bit of paint off of him. But it stands out like a sore thumb. So I must ensure that I get it, and I have done. Okay, unlike the other cog, I'm just going to see if I can get the edges. Like I say, this one doesn't stand out so proud as the other one did. I've actually gone over a little bit of black. I think I'm going to be going backwards and forwards here. John says it's called a STAP, stands for Single Trooper Aerial Platform. That was the bit that I was trying to remember, aerial platform. I'd hate to be the person who makes up those acronyms. No, you wouldn't. You'd love it. I would. But I would not be able to take myself seriously, so probably best I don't. Yeah, I missed the Blast and Flame templates as well. Pre-ordered the Proteus Land Raider. It's almost identical to the original. Yeah, the good old-fashioned second edition, or even Rogue Trader. I think it was the tank that if you flipped it over from the back or the front, it would just kind of roly-poly over on itself, wouldn't it? It does look really cool. They've just improved on design just a little bit, haven't they? Just made a couple of tweaks here and there, and it makes it look really cool. I'm a big fan of the Sicarian, or the Sicaran battle tank. I think that looks proper cool. Let's clean my brush out here just for that last little bit of white. Paint has dried in the bristles and it's making it almost impossible to paint. If you haven't seen the Sicaran battle tank, just go and Google it now. and it used to be a Forge Weld model, so therefore was solid resin, very expensive, not available to everybody, but it was just a really cool tank. But because of Horus Heresy, it's now available in a plastic kit. Okay, I'm just going to come back in with that little bit of black just to push that white back a bit where I went a bit over the top. You see, you've got the cog, and if this is the bottom tooth or the top tooth of the cog, it's half black and half white, so you've got to get the white onto one side and then the black onto the other. What I've just done is I've just gone white right over the top of it, so I've got to go back in now and just push that black, well, push that white back with a little bit of black. John says, I have a video series for a speeder bike as well. It was one of my first videos. Oh, I haven't seen that one, should but go back and have a little look. I'm not a massive fan of Star Wars, the films, that is. I like all the stuff in them. I'm a big fan of the Scout Bikers from Return of the Jedi. And I like the Chicken Walkers. I know that's their nickname, but the ATSTs. I think they're really cool. And who doesn't like a lightsaber either, man? You know, lightsabers are awesome. But the films just, if they're on, I'll certainly watch them. The newer ones, didn't really like them. Rogue One was amazing. And I did like The Mandalorian as well. So I don't really know a lot about Star Wars because well, it's a sci-fi and sci-fi appeals. It was never really my thing. I'll go back and have a little look for that video because it sounds interesting. Chimera Wargaming, hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Chimera Wargaming, if you are familiar with Chimera Wargaming, I believe there is a link to Chimera down in the description of this video. Father and son operation, making models and painting them between the two of them. Some really good jobs out there. Hope you guys are doing well. Nice to see your names again. Right, it is 10 to 5 minutes away from a little break. And I'm still not onto the base yet, or even the faceplate, but I feel that that was good work done there. I don't know how I feel about hitting these guys with a grey dry brush. I might just leave them. Not because I'm trying to rush it to get it done, but just because it's such a small thing. Does it need it? What do you guys think? Do the black hoses and the black sides of the cogs, do they need grey dry brushing? Okay. So what am I going to do with the faceplate here? So you can see there's a little crosshair on here. I'm going to hold it at an angle so the light doesn't glare off of it. I want to basically make it stand out. So I'm going to just make it more defined, neaten it up a little bit, and I might just stick a couple of other extra little dashes and things in there. Again, move that light away. So I'm just going to stick a couple of extra like dashes or lines in it just to make it look a bit more, I don't know, techie. Like it's kind of aiming at something, because at the moment it just looks like a cross on a dark green background. But if I could stick a couple of little lines here, a couple of little lines here, maybe a little square in the middle, then it kind of establishes it being a crosshair. And then in the future, what I'll do is I will do without a cross in it. I'll do like an oscilloscope, wavy line all the way across it, and then once I get really good, like the heart rate, jaggedy lines, etc. You know, cool. Chimera Wargaming says, I love this colour. What, the orange colour? I think it looks really good. It's my first time working with orange, not on this particular model, but within this army. And I'm really enjoying the weathering process. I was saying at the beginning of the show, I want to tame that down a little bit. I've discovered that to make things look a bit more realistic, that low lighting your edges with a rust colour weathering effect is the way to make them look really realistic, really simply. As if I compare it to my friend's version, which is very war gamesy, that's a beautiful job that's been done on here, but obviously he's highlighted these edges with a lighter colour to make them stand out, and I wanted to get away from that toyish feel to them. Whilst this is a superb paint job, I felt that I could do something different. What I do like about my friend's work here is that all these iconography bits on the side here, they're all hand painted. He's very good at that. Yeah, anyway, busy night tonight, says Staff. Yes, it is a busy night, and it's I'm really grateful, so thank you very much for coming along to everybody. John says, I built a Spartan years ago with the instructions from White Dwarf, built with Rhino and Land Raider parts. Wow, that's cool. Have you still got it? I would love to see it if you still got it. Put a little photo up on Easy8's Facebook page, it'll be great. Looking great so far, love the crosshair on the visor. Thank you. I just say I need to neaten it up a little bit. It is a little bit shiny in here because what I've done is I have used a semi-gloss or a satin finish varnish in there to make it like a screen. I did try with a gloss, but a gloss is too shiny, and when you think about it, screens generally aren't really shiny, are they? They're actually quite matte, even old-fashioned glass ones, which is something that I was trying to represent on here. Gloss was too shiny, made it look like it was wet, so a semi-gloss makes it like a screen. It just shines quite a bit on the camera here, but I'm sure you can see the thing there. So yeah, what I'm going to do now, go in, redefine those lines, and then I'm going to give them a satin finish. I'll probably matte varnish the whole thing, and then I'll satin them afterwards, and then it's onto the base. Adrian says, fun fact, in real life, the Jedi weapons are never referred to as lightsabers in the films. Interesting. Jedi weapons are never referred to as lightsabers in the films. I know that in the not the original trilogy, but like what was the Phantom Menace, Anakin as a boy refers to it as a laser sword or a laser stick, doesn't he? That's kind of a cool idea. Lightsabers, like a lightsaber. Like, lightsabers are cool, man. I'm just not a massive fan of Star Wars. But like I say, if it's on, I wouldn't not watch it. But it's just, I would go, yay, Star Wars convention. I'd be like, you go have fun. I never thought Darth Vader was a very good villain until A New Hope. Not A New Hope. What was the film I was just talking about? Where they go into the story behind the first film. Oh man, I just said it a minute ago. Rogue One. There we go. I don't know why I was struggling to think of that. Like, my mind went totally blank. Like, the end of that film. Spoilers! At the end of that film, when you see him coming down the corridor, and it's the beginning of the very first film, he is terrifying in that. But in previous versions, I never really thought much of him. Yeah, there you go. That's my thought for the day. Controversial, I know. Anyway, while we're on a controversial subject matter like that, we'll go for a quick break, I think. During our break, I might just see if I can crack on, get my paints mixed up, because I've actually, the colour green that I'm going to use is a mixture of two colours. I do 2/3 bright green to 1/3 dark green, just because the bright green just pops a little bit too much. So yeah, I'm just going to mix those up, and I might just get a head start and mix those in now, and then I should change my paint water, which is exactly what you should do. So go change your paint water. Do it. See you in a minute. Welcome back. Hope you had a good break. I've had a really productive break. I didn't go and change my paint water. I didn't listen to my own advice, but you should definitely go change your paint water because I told you to, and I'm in charge. But I did a really good crosshair. Like I'm really happy with myself. During the break, just before we went away, out of this world, models and minis. That's John said. It's just in response to what Adrian was talking about the lightsabers in Star Wars films, saying that in Return of the Jedi, Darth says to Luke that he's constructed a new lightsaber, and Obi-Wan gives Luke his father's lightsaber. And I do recall that latter one there, actually, if I remember. You can see who the Star Wars fan is in the room, can't you? There you go. And he goes on to say that unfortunately he lost a Spartan and his old Space Wolf army when my ex failed to pay on our storage facility. It was about 10 years ago. Oh man, that's a really sad story. really sad to hear that. He goes on to say, what projects are on your benches? I'm working on The Martian from the old War of the Worlds film. Man, that picture you showed me, or that you put up on Facebook, it looks really cool, and I'm really excited to see it. If anyone is interested in seeing John's Martian from War of the Worlds, the original George Powell movie, head on over to Out of This World Models and Minis and keep an eye out because it'll be up there soon. I'm going to take you back over to the workbench to show you what I've done because I'm really happy with it. Here we go. So, yeah, check that out. That came out all right, that, didn't it? It's a bit fuzzy there. Let me just try to get the glare away from the lights. Can you see that? I've got my autofocus off, so if I keep it here, it'll probably be easier to see. So I've just done a couple of lines on the outsides there, and I've done one at the bottom, one at the top. Unfortunately, while I was doing the one at the top there, the bristles on my brush just separated and I got two lines for the price of one, which is absolutely not what I wanted. So just as we were coming out of the break there, I was using just a little bit of airbrush cleaner. This is a little trick that Luke Gallia told me. Luke has been on for a little while. He's quite a busy gentleman. But he says, if you're gentle and you get a bit of airbrush cleaner neat on the end of your brush, you can just work away relatively fresh applied paint. And he's right, it works very well. So yeah, I've had to kind of just peel the lights away a little bit because I'm working on this satin gloss. It's quite shiny. It's very difficult for me to see what I'm doing. So I'm just working away that top line that I've just put on there, and I'm deliberately not being aggressive because what can happen here is I can just work my way through the layers of stuff that I've already done in the past. Because I'm fairly certain, plus with the addition of a few extra ingredients, airbrush cleaner is just alcohol, so it will just peel its way through everything that you've got on there. So I'm just using a little bit of cotton wool there just to absorb that away. And I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. A little bit of cotton fibre left on there, see if I can get rid of that. Come on now. Come away with you. Okay, cool. Right, now I'm just going to go back in, re-establish that line. I have been using neat Sick Green is the colour. I did try the mixture that I did a little while ago, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go in with the bright colour, just see how it compares against what I had previously done, and the neat paint rather than blending my. It wasn't a Sick Green, sorry. It was Escorpino green. I'm assuming that is Spanish for scorpion, but over here it's Verde Escorpina, so that's its name, Escorpino green, and it's a really bright green. Not Sick Green, sorry, that was the darker of the two that I was blending it with. Scorpion green. So my trick here is to get a really fine point and make sure that my bristles aren't going to separate into two sets, because that is not what I wanted. And you can see here the pattern that I've got. Kez has joined us. I've been working on scenery for my Battletech models. Yes, Kez, you showed me some pictures earlier on Facebook and they look absolutely brilliant. Well done to you. Okay, there we go. Done. I'm going to leave it. I don't want to play with that anymore because it's on there now. It looks really cool. Wonderful. Cool. So I've neatened up the ammo belt on the top there. I have neatened up the hoses where they were connecting into those sockets specifically. I've neatened up the icons, the cog icons, and I've also finished the faceplate on him. Which, if I did that, can you see? Does it show up? It's so shiny. Look at that, that's cool. I'm well happy with it. I'll take some photos later on. I'll put them on Facebook so you can see exactly what it is that I've been doing in all good resolution. So the only thing left for me to do now is to give them a quick matte varnish. So that does mean turning on the old air compressor. Make sure that my airbrush is nice and clean, which it is not. Yay me, well done. Can do a bit of a clean. Problem with I've been doing a lot of varnishing with it lately, and the problem with varnish is that it's just pure resin and it's quite a nasty clogger. You'll see it come out on the needle now. Oh no, it's not actually stuck on there. That's quite new. It's normally like plastered all up the needle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour some neat cleaner in there. I don't have my screwdriver to hand. I'm just going to pour some neat cleaner inside, and I'm just going to push an airbrush cleaner. It looks like a needle, but it's a threaded wire, and that offers just a little bit of texture, and it should just push the rubbish out in there enough for me to get a quick blast of matte varnish in there. So this is just like a little bobbly wire. See, it's kind of twisted around on itself, and I'll just push that through the gasket there. There we go. And it'll probably come out with a load of gunk on the end. There it is. Blech. Peel that away. You can see it all coming out on the ends of my fingers here. That I have not been doing an awful lot of airbrushing on the show recently. So you haven't seen me like there. Look at the size of that lump there. Look. So you haven't been seeing me keeping actually quite a good, keep it in quite good condition lately. I've just obviously not cleaned it out so well the last time, or forgotten to clean it out whilst I was doing it last time. But generally, I have been much better at it, because one of those things that I am known for is not treating my airbrush very well. There we go, that is pretty clean now. Okay, cool. What I'll do is I'll just get that little piece of cotton. I'll just pop a little bit of cleaner on there. Just find this a little bit easier to use in a piece of kitchen towel, which is what you'll see most airbrush users use. I'll just run the needle through it. You can feel there's a little bit of texture on there. There we go, pour that away. Right. The nozzle is clean, which is good. I am going to pop my trigger in. Love that green, says John. Yes, it's a beautiful green, and it goes really well with light livery green, which is virtually a bright yellow. The two together are very close to the Citadel Technical Tesseract glow. And some years ago, about 12 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, 2 years ago, I did an acid pool base for my Tyranids using those colours and all of my greens, working my way up from the darkest to the lightest. And I actually got noticed by Ruben Garraby, who is a fellow associate wargamer who runs Hostile Galaxy, who I associate with on Facebook. There are links to those guys over on Easy 8 Facebook. Go and check them out, they're really cool. And he was at the time making Hostile Galaxy magazine, online magazine, which he doesn't do anymore. He kind of releases battle reports and things like that, but you know, life I think got in the way, but now he actually does commission painting through Hostile Galaxy. Him and some other people have kind of taken the company in a different direction, and it seems to be working really well. He saw what I had done. My trigger is in backwards. Oh well. And he basically posted it in his online magazine. I got like a centerfold. It was really cool. Wet Palette Miniatures. Hi guys, how's it going? Hi guys, hi dude, how are you? Weathering, it's the future. Thank you very much. I am really pleased and proud of it. I've got a lot more to learn, I think, to make him look really cool, but I'm glad you approve. Yeah, so that was the colours I used anyway, John. I was going on about the colour greens that I use, and yeah, it looks really good basically. Have I got, here's my acid pool, probably covered in dust. It is covered in dust. Let me just clean that off so you can see, because you know I need an excuse to delay me actually finishing a model on this show. But yeah, there you can see the colours in there. Fortunately, it's a little bit old now. It probably needs a really good clean. It's got a little bit frosted from just being sat there. If I was to put a bit of alcohol, it'd probably clean it up beautifully. If I rub my wet finger across it, you can see the colours kind of coming out there, all marbly affected. That was one of my first goes at doing an acid pool base. I have got better at it. Nice job. Thanks, guys. Thanks. That's really kind. There's a lot of people kind of give me a lot of praise lately, and I feel really good about myself. So thank you very much. I also now have a dusty finger in my mouth, and I should have thought about that. Cool. Right, my airbrush is ready to go. I need a piece of paper to spray down onto because I don't spray on my mat. Here we go. So for now, I'm going to go in with a little bit of matte varnish, just a little bit of matte. And I'm just going to give them a coat all over just to protect those little last jobs I've just done there. And again, it's just another protective layer. It's the whole thing, isn't it? And then I'm going to go straight onto the base, which I've brought a hairdryer up for me to do because I'm going to be doing a little bit of cracked earth on him as well. I have learned to mix thinner in with my varnishes. It makes it just flow so much better. So yeah. Side. So airbrush thinner here. I'm going to stick in just a couple of drops there. Got about 3 or 4 drops of varnish. So quite thinned. Where's my mixing brush? Just a crappy old bristly brush. Trusty old mixer. Just mix it around in the hopper there. Going back off to what John said about what's everyone doing, or what's everyone got on their benches. John goes on to say, I used that colour on my Jabberwock. Okay. Oh, the sick green? Oh no, you were talking about the Tesseract glow, weren't you? Yeah, that's a cool colour. I liked it. I wanted to kind of make it myself, which is why I used all my greens. Jeff goes on to say, my bench is a bit crowded at the moment, got to clear some. I've got a Zulu Wars building, a big Martello tower, a ton of bocage, and a big top secret build for Salute show next April. I'll correct you there, show, not shoe, unless it is in a shoe. Salute is definitely an event that I want to go to. It's one of the biggest in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, and I would really like to go. We've done a couple of Easy 8 outings now where the community have got together and we've gone to like museums and things. In fact, that's pretty much all we've gone to, just museums, and that has been a blast. We've had a really good time, but I think it'll be really good to go to a convention. So here we are, early doors, talking about maybe going next year. If you're interested in going to Salute, maybe we can make it another Easy Out trip away. It'll be really cool to get the community together and make it bigger every time. We got extra people coming along. Last time we all went out, it was really good. And Salute is generally in the Midlands. I think it's often in Birmingham, so it's kind of middle ground for everybody. So if anyone's interested, then it's kind of nice to be able to get everyone together. It's not too far at one end of the country where people from more northern counties have to go further, or if it's in the north, then myself or whoever comes down. There's quite a few of us down here because obviously I'm supported by my friends and family. Thank you very much, but it does mean that we have to travel further afield. So yeah, basically, if you're interested in going to Salute, let me know. Either talk about it here now or drop it in the comment section later on, or let's keep the conversation going over on Facebook, and we can just keep a thing going over there if you want to. I can start a thread and people can make comments about it there. That would be cool. It'll be really nice to get everyone together. Like I say, I'm just interested in making this community large, because, well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Can't play war games. You can play war games on your own, but it's a bit boring, isn't it? Okay, that screen is much easier to see now because it's not so glossy. Spinning lights. Yeah, cool, right? Just using up what I've got in the hopper there, and we're done. Okay, cool. So I will just stick a bit of cleaner through here, and I'll make sure that I purge them out properly tomorrow. I always put neat cleaner in after using varnish just because of how cloggy and destructive it is, and I probably would have done that the last time, and if that is the truth, then you can see how it was still clogged before going into using it now. So if I've only cleaned it out, given them a good purge, and then it's still clogged, it's just, yeah man, it's just resin, isn't it? It's just resin. Kes says, I'd be interested in going. Cool, let's make it a thing, let's go. One of the dreams that I've got actually is having a little counter just on the sidelines, not one of the really big counters because they cost a lot of money and they dominate a lot of space. I'll leave that to the big, the big time players, but it'd be nice to have one of those little 200-pound tables or whatever where you get a 2-foot square or 2 foot by 3 or something, and it would just be nice to be able to promote the stuff that we paint on this show. So if you are painting projects right now to bring along one of your favourite things that you've done, I'll bring along a couple of my bits and pieces and just display an Easy 8 community of work that we've done together. It is a painting club after all, and I think that would be really valuable. Okay, cool. I'm done with the greens. They can go away. So I'm going to put those over here. Don't want those. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get in and just put on some stuff on the base because it's time to crack on. I'm going to be finishing this tonight, even if it's not live here right now. I'm going to be going over to Easy 8's after party on Discord. So if you're interested in joining me and the few people that normally come over at the end of the show, you can come along and talk to me live on video or chat or whatever you like. I will certainly be finishing it there, but I am going to try and get it done now because it's proper exciting. One of those things that I said I wanted to do with some of the larger bases was to create a little bit more sort of variation in the surface, because these bases are very flat, and when you start just putting paint down, they look too flat basically. So I haven't really thought ahead here, but what I could do is get a little bit of like plastic putty down and then just paint over top of it. I could use like a milli putt or something like that, but what I have got is plastic putty. This stuff dries really quickly, so I'm just gonna have a little go and just see if I can apply this on. I'm gonna go straight onto the base, and it dries in much the same sort of way as a milli putt would. And if it's just going to be too problematic, then I can just scrape it off and then, wipe it away, whatever. It is water soluble. I'm going to go in with my crappy little mixing brush, and I'm just going to sort of pat it down a little bit, and then I'm just going to hit it with the hairdryer and just see what it's like. And it might offer just a bit of variation. I probably would have been better off getting a big lump of like polymer or something, just slapping it down. But who knows? Who knows? Let's see what happens. You know me, I love an experiment. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to get the hairdryer on it now, so I'm just going to cancel out my microphone because you guys don't need to be completely blown away by this sound. Okay, it got very warm in here then. So it's kind of dried the surface of it. I don't know how dry it is. It's still quite tacky and wet, whatever. It will dry quite quickly. I'll just put a big lump of it down. What I can't do is make big mounds effectively within the short time that I've kind of got here. And I do want to finish it on live show right now. So what I'll do is I'll just leave that there for now. And I'll paint over it in a minute with the base colour, which I use as terracotta. It seems to be a good base colour. If I paint black and do crackle earth on, over the top, then it just shows black through, and it kind of has ruined it. If I show you one of my Skitari minis here, you can kind of see what I mean. And the black shows through, and I don't think that's a good colour to have underneath this colour. So I'm just going to go ahead, give this a good old shake. Jeff says it's going to be at the XL and exhibition in London. Oh, okay, cool. bit more south than the Midlands, but still easy to get to, right? If everyone goes by train or carpools or whatever, nice and simple to do. On the 22nd of April, so yeah, pop that in your calendars. If you are interested in going, it would be great to have you there. We can all meet up, get a little travel lodge or whatever for the night, or if you're feeling frivolous, maybe get a premiere in, throw money at it, and we can all go for a beer, and that would be great, or a beverage of your choice, of course. I'm not insisting that you should drink alcohol. For those of you wondering what I'm doing right now, I am mixing up my crackle paint. It has a little agitator in there because it's a very, very thick clay-based paint designed to crackle, funnily enough, and I'm using it on the Easygate Waz-O-Matic because you've got to give it a waz. Good old vortex shaker thingy. Not as good as a vortex because those are very good, but they are also 3 times the cost, and I didn't have it at the time. But I would like to get one. So yeah, the Waz-O-Matic. There we go. That's much looser now. You can feel it's much more liquidy. Right, it's going to pop this down in the palette. I put down loads of it because this stuff from Green Stuff World is so much cheaper than the Citadel stuff. I do think the Citadel stuff is a better quality. You'd only have to put down a small amount or smaller amount of it compared to this stuff. You have to put this stuff on quite thick for it to produce good cracks. And it matches the terracotta colour that I'm using quite well. I'm not going to be applying this stuff all over the base because I feel that's a little bit cheating. You know, I think that we should use different variations of textures and things to create a more realistic sort of environment for them to be on. So I'm going to put a big old splodge here. I'm not going to paint it over the top of that white stuff that I've put down there because when it cracks, it'll show the white through it. So yeah. I'm applying this on super thick, and it says on the back of the bottle, don't speed up drying with a hairdryer, but I'm totally going to dry it up with a hairdryer because I can't see the reason why not to. And I'm going to put a big old splotch of it over here, and then the rest I'm going to use different texture paints and things. So I'm going to stick a couple of rocks and stuff down on it. Going in thick, going in thick. I've got a hair stuck in that one. Let's get rid of that. There we go. That's lovely. Cool. I'm actually going to paint over thin because I've got a little bit left in my brush. If you paint this stuff on thin enough, it doesn't crack. Maybe it's a bad idea, I don't know. Where's my Agrellan Earth? Agrellan Earth. Where is it? All my paints all arranged nice and neatly out, and I've got them hidden behind others. Here we go. So, I've got my Agrellan Badlands and my Agrellan Earth. This is the crackle paint of the same colour, or very close to. I want the gritty stuff. And this stuff is a totally different colour to what I normally use, which means that I can paint over it and kind of create variations in the colour that I use as well. That's not the reason why I've got it, that was actually just me testing out different products and things, but it is just a happy bonus. So I'm just going to scoop big lumps of this out, just pop it down, all happy slappy all over the model, and then I'm going to thin it out with a brush. Actually getting quite low on this. Scoop of it here. Scoop some of that off. Lovely. Seven viewers. It is busy tonight, isn't it? Thank you everyone for coming along. I really appreciate the company and the support. Lots of regular faces as well, which I couldn't be happy with, so thanks very much. Righto. Okay, I'm just gonna smush this gravelly stuff down. I come in with a wet brush as well in places, especially between the transitions between texture paints. It's good to make sure that you get a little bit of soften it out and feather it in. Wet palette miniature says Vallejo texture paste applied with a wet brush gives a great finish to change consistency, and then add fine grained sand and gravel whilst drying. Not use the GW crackling paint before. Any good? Yeah, I actually, out of all the crackle paints that I've used before, I find the Citadel one absolutely brilliant. Like I say, I'm not affiliated with Games Workshop, so it's not me like singing their praises for any particular reason. I genuinely do think it is a good paint. It's one of their better ones. Over the years, Citadel have made some really good paints. They've really improved. I remember back in 2nd edition Warhammer 40,000, using Citadel paints was really difficult. They just weren't as good as a lot of the long-standing paint manufacturers like Humbrol and things like that. They just wasn't that good in comparison. But they do make some really good paints and products nowadays. There's just a lot of issues with price, value for what you for the amount that you get, and when I compare that against Green Stuff World's crackle paint, I just don't think you can compare sometimes. So I will forego the quality. It's only slight, and I have worked out how to use it, you know, in a way that suits me. I know that certain products, you know, it's all very personal, isn't it? It's you know, what you like to use. I've not used the Vallejo one. I've got the Crackle Medium here, which I've not actually had a lot of luck with. But there's lots of wonderful products out there. AK make a lot of really wonderful sort of textures and things. They come in very large tubs as well because they're made for dioramas, etc. I just haven't got to the point where I want to buy them yet. But if you're saying the Vallejo stuff is good, then perhaps I'll give that a try. Another reason to do another Easy 8 product review, which I've only done a couple of. Got a little hair stuck in the paint now, and I'm trying to get him away. He doesn't want to. Come on, you're embarrassing me. Whatever, I'll leave it. Being a bit unruly here. I'll stick you over there. It's a bit easier. Trying to not get it on his feet. I don't really want it on his feet. I spent a long time painting him. Don't want to cover him up. So I'm trying to work around him. I see more comments going in. Jeff says tile grout and cat litter sand dries rock hard for bigger builds. Yeah, you have told me that before. Actually, it's grout can be quite expensive, but when you mix it with something as readily available as cat litter, and of course if your cat pees in it, it absorbs. And that is something that my cats might try. That's why I don't let them in the studio, much to the annoyance of some of my viewers. A lot of my viewers are like, let the cats in, let the cats in. I would love to let them in. They cannot be trusted in here. Boy cat likes to lick everything, and if I tell him off for it, then he goes away and bites a cardboard box that's keeping, you know, something safe and secure. And girl cat likes to climb into things that she's not allowed to really climb into. So no, I can't have them in the studio. I would love nothing more to have their company here, but I just can't. I might have to get in with a slightly finer brush because it's getting quite difficult to scoop this texture in now. You can kind of see what I'm going for here. A little bit of crackle either side of the strip of, you know, textured sand stuff. I use my army painter brush here, which I quite like this one, but I don't use it often enough. In favour of my Klinsky brushes. Just tile grout is a good base. Oh, okay. I would like to do some dioramas, but I've got so many miniatures for war games and things to paint first. time consuming is this texture paint business. Scoop out a big dollop of it here on the side of the palette so I can get to it nice and easy, because now I'm having to just sort of poke it in between his feet, which is quite difficult to do. So you can see I'm running a bit low here as well, just scooping out large amounts of this. Have it on the side there ready to go. But it's quite satisfying though. I do like this. Separating a bit from its medium down there as well, so I'll mix that in as I'm painting it on. Because it does have a medium, because it does have a colour to it. I think my plastic putty idea wasn't going to work, which is a bit of a shame. I'll just have to make sure that I prep my base properly before next time so I don't have such a flat surface. I've put like slate rocks and things down on my Tyranids in the past, which works, but to have like almost not a rolling hill, but to have just an uneven surface, you know, to raise an area or to, you know, create some sort of differences in the levels, I think it goes a long way to making it look better. That's made it slightly different though. Almost there. Bring my light in a bit closer so I can see better what I'm doing. It's my compressor going off again. I don't need that on right now, so let's just turn that off. There we go. This is my concentration voice. It's the bit where I don't speak on my show. I think that's just one more bit to go now, which is just down there under his ankle. Okay, I'm happy with that for the time being. I'm going to stick some more rocks and sand and things over them as well as time goes on. Maybe that's something I'll do throughout the rest of the evening. But this miniature is going to be... to be honest, he is pretty much finished right now, isn't he? Which I'm pretty chuffed about. Good advice, a lot cheaper as well, says Wet Palette Miniatures. Yeah, Green Stuff will do these crackle paints in these really large tubs, and it's really worth getting. 60 millilitres or just over 2 fluid ounces is much better, even compared to the larger technical pots that Citadel, I think they used to do them. I don't think they do this size anymore, even in any of their paint ranges. But when you consider that one of these, their standard small ones, is what, £3-4. This one here was £2.50, £2.99 or something like that. So yeah, I just don't think you can compete with that. Even if prices are the same, you're still getting 3 times the amount. So it's worth having a little look. And Green Stuff World do make some good stuff. I just think that the Citadel texture paint is just better, basically. The base is looking nice, like the combo of the pastes. Thanks very much. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come through and feather the where they meet. So I just get not a sodden brush, but I just wet them down, and then I'm just going to feather between them. And what that does is it just kind of breaks them up and stops them looking so well there, you know, like you got to feather the crackle paint out so it doesn't just become this stark thing of cracked stuff. It's one of those little tips that I learned from Duncan Rhodes on his Painting Academy show on YouTube, which was just feather the edges down just a little bit, don't have to go crazy, and it just softens the edges up. Sometimes you might be looking for that, you might be looking for that stark, what's the word I'm looking for? Today I'm having a day where I can't form words very well. The holidays clearly got to me. When where the edges blend, you might not want them to blend so well, so you might be looking for something a little starker perhaps. Just clean the base away. There we go. So those should be nice and feathered now. What I'm going to do now is come in with a hairdryer again. What? I know, crazy. So bear with me. You can see it coming on quite well already, can't you? There's that little putty bit that's... God, Matt's really warm. Ouch. You can see the putty showing through of there, but it doesn't matter at all because I'm going to paint over that anyway. I'm going to change this colour into the same sort of colour there. However, one of the things I was thinking about was maybe keeping this sort of colour, making it slightly redder by applying sort of pigments and things, but I do like this colour, so that's something I can bear in mind in the future. One of the ongoing things with my Skitara units, my sort of Martian style units if you like, is the colour of the bases. You can see one of my original ones here. I was never truly happy with it, and it's one of those things that I think I just need to kind of find that thing that works for me so I can call it perfected. Yeah, we are pretty much there. Let's consider the colours that I'm going to paint on here. I do quite like this colour, so what I do is if I've got something left over, is I water it down, and I get a nice soft brush. I've got a nice large soft brush here. Do somewhere. Not that one. Not that one. I use my tank brush, which needs a really good clean. I use my Kolinsky brush, why not? Is I water it down and I just apply it as like a normal paint over the top, and because it's so thin it doesn't crack. I have sent a message to Green Stuff World asking if they do just a standard paint of this colour to match it. They did not reply. So yeah, shame. So what I'm going to do here is just really, really water it down, because it's such a thick paint, and it allows me to kind of match that colour up. The wet blend you did, it definitely made a difference. As it dried, you could see that it would have been a solid line rather than a gradient. Nice, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, all credit to Duncan Rhodes, really. What I'm doing there is I'm actually mixing into that putty. Shouldn't have put that down. Never mind, you'll learn. Cool. But yeah, like you say, you can see that there's a definite transition. That's the word I was trying to think of earlier. Really, really soft up to the edges here. I'm going to hit it again with a hairdryer in just a second. My brushes keep rolling around. I really need to sort out the unlevelness of my worktop here, because it all wants to roll in that direction. Just a case of twisting a foot, but I just never have got around to it. One of the things that I've really been looking forward to is finding a colour that I'm happy with about bordering the rims of my bases. I'm one of those guys that always likes to paint the rims of bases because I think it really sets them off. I don't like leaving them black, even painting them black. I just think it looks unfinished. I think it looks like a base. I think it needs to be a colour that sets it off, but is still in keeping with the colour scheme on it. With my Tyranids, I've always gone for a bright grey, because it is the brightest grey that I use on all the armour on their like, you know, armoured bits. So the bright grey here really works, sets it all off, but keeps it in tone. I've been trying to find a colour that works for these guys. I didn't want to use the orange that I've used on their armour because it's too much orange. It's such a dominant colour on the models. But I was thinking about my other orange, which is Orange Fire, which is really, really bright. It might be too bright. These are quite a dark model. This might be too bright. But this is the colour I'm going to go with on this particular model, and I'm going to see what it's like. But at the moment, I'm just waiting for everything to sort of dry here a little bit. Going to come back with a hairdryer. So here we go. Looking pretty good already. We're almost there, aren't we? My mat is very soft now. Maybe don't do it on your mats. Kez is saying, what about the red used on the arms? I did try that on one of my miniatures, and I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a colour that... Is it too dark? Does it need brightening up a little bit? Is it a colour that works? For me, it was a colour that I was happy with at the time, but I wanted it to be a bit more brighter to set the whole model off. I don't know what you think. Let me know. Right, it is uncomfortably warm on here now. Stafford says, do not use salt and PVA. No, definitely do not use salt and PVA. It turns it into a mucky foodstuff. But hey, we all like to play around and experiment, right? So yeah, just don't do it, mate. Right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a little look at some of my pigments and see how they work on here. So I keep them in their little bags because they get messy everywhere. I've got a black, which is called Natural Iron Oxide. I've got a burnt sienna, which is a really nice colour, and then I've got a red ochre, which is a very rusty sort of orange colour. I wanted colours that sort of matched with the riser colours, which is the orange sort of scheme that I went for. But I discovered that they are so close in their colours that they blend away sometimes. But maybe over the top of this sandy colour down here, they might work. So I'm just going to give them a go. Are you going to decorate the base? The base with me, Bank AI, and Cog, and with Bank AI. And cogs, I don't know what you mean. I mean, are you talking about like just random like bits of detritus and things like that? Yes, I have got a little bag of little cogs and things, but I don't know. I don't know what models to put that on. I want to kind of, I want to get my color schemes right before I do anything like that. But yeah, it would look good, like just detritus of war and things, I'm going to go with a bit of burnt sienna. Let's give this a try. So I'm just going to lift a little bit out of my brush. Just see what happens. If I don't like it, of course, I can always just come back in and paint it, which is always my plan anyway. The problem is it's making it quite orangey, which blends in too close for my liking to the colour of the armour. But over the top of that sandy colour, it's working quite well. And I wonder if I was to do that over the top of the crackle paint, would it offer a nice sort of hue while it's drying? I've never had much luck with pigments, but it's one of those things that I want to be good with. So yeah, I always come back to them. I tried doing like dusty trousers or dusty boots on some of my infantry, and it just didn't work. One of those things that I'm sure I will get better at with time. But this is looking alright right now. Don't know what you guys seem to think. Starting to crackle, faster reaction than I expected. Yeah, it's because I've had the hairdryer on it. Normally it would sort of take all night, which is why I used a hairdryer on it, because I was A, impatient, and B, trying to run a show. So yeah. You're going to decorate the base with mechanical bits and cogs. Right, I see what you were saying. Understood. Yes. Going back to what I said a minute ago, I want to perfect my color scheme first. Once I kind of got that down, then yeah, absolutely, I will put in all sorts of, broken bits and whatnot. These colours don't blend well together, the red and the sandy colour, so I might do more with the red crackle paint area. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep on going and adding lots of different colours to the sandy colour area and see what it looks like as the evening progresses. But yeah, there we go. Not looking so bad, is it? Let me just get rid of that. It's going to be everywhere now, isn't it? That stuff. I'll put a little bit down over here. What I want to be able to do is find something to stop the crackle paint from continuing to crack, because sometimes the green stuff gets to a certain point and you want it to stop, but it just carries on going and the splits become quite large. Like on this particular miniature here, you can see here it's actually split right through. Too far. Maybe a burning 15mm Sherman sister. Yeah, broken cog would be nice. I've got a little bag of brass cogs someone gave to me as a present a little while ago, some years ago now actually. just as a random thing. Hey, saw these, thought you might like them, and they probably would be quite ideal. What does everybody think about the colours? Looking all right, isn't it? I've got various different colours to use. Say that was my burnt sienna. Sienna's a beautiful colour. I've always admired sienna. Sorry, my autocorrect went nuts for a minute. That's fine, man. It happens, right? It's the wonders of a live show. I wouldn't change it for nothing. Or would I? So this is the dark red ochre, which is a very rusty orange colour. It's a beautiful colour, just haven't managed to make it work for me very well yet, that's all. And I wanted to kind of get all these colours because I think it's a colour that matches the armour quite well, so if you were going to paint something orange, you'd match it as a camouflage, wouldn't you? You would try to, but it all becomes this one big blob that doesn't quite look right. But like I say, if I don't like it, I can fix it down, and of course I can just come in and paint it. What I might do is actually mix it with some water. That will pretty much turn it into a paint, and then I can get the colour right on these red bits here. Though that colour is nice, it is a little too red as well. I much prefer where it's kind of gone more orangey here at the back. What I've got here somewhere, just here on the floor beside me, is a little bit of pigment fixer, which I'll try applying this by brush, and it swamps everything and stops it looking so powdery and dry. But actually, a drop or two in the airbrush blasts it down, kind of gives it a fine mist, works much better. Look at this mess that I've made over here. Okay, and the other colours that I've got in this range is a black, which is a bit too much for most of the stuff that I do here. That has not gone on properly. I'll have to sort that lid out later. Come and join me in the after 8, the Easy 8 after party to watch me try and screw a lid back on properly. The black's a little bit too intense. I've got, from doing tanks ages and ages ago, a sand colour, Europe Earth, which might be a nice sort of highlight colour to kind of add a little bit of tonal differences in there. But for the most part, I think we're actually done here. Let me get my little dusting brush. Try and pick a lot of that out. That is, it's got a bit much there, isn't it? I've made a mess. All right, I'll clean that up later. Wet brush possibly. Do you know what? Just give it a go in an area, shall we? See what happens. Let's just try it over here. See here, actually, it's not looking so bad, is it? It's quite nice, that. That just seems to be washing it away. Let's just pick up some of that stuff there. Yeah, it's not gone so well. Water just seems to wash it away. I will use that to clean my workbench. We are pretty much at the end of the show though, so yeah, I think I can call this model completed. So the last thing I'm gonna do, just while I'm cleaning up this mess that I've made here, because that is quite atrocious, is I'm just gonna do the edge with that bright orange and just see how that compares against everything else that I've used so far. Let me just get a tissue on that. So my bright orange, going to give it a really good shake. Really good shake. I've not really used this one before. I'm expecting it to go on quite thin, so I might have to do a couple of coats over the course of the evening. But I'm going to be here for the remainder of the night. I'm in the house alone by myself again today, so I'm going to be over on Discord for quite some time if you're interested in coming to join me today. That is a very, very weak pigment, as you can see. The same sort of issue I had with the original orange, the darker orange. But you can see that it'll be a nice bright colour. How does everyone feel? That's going to be too much orange, isn't it? Too much orange. So I think what Kez was saying, going back to the red's probably the best idea. That is too much. What does everyone think? Let me know. It's very, very orangey, isn't it? Okay, cool. Let's remove that. I'll just use a bit of tissue and I'll just wipe that away. And I'll just hit it with the dark red. It's a crimson that I use and I really like it. Just a bit of gory red from Vallejo. How are your projects going on this evening? There's quite a few of you that have been working on something today. Have you had as much luck as I have? Have you finished something? Are you near finishing something? Or are you just having a lot of fun doing what you're doing? Or have you just been watching the show? You're allowed to do that too. Do you know, I think you're right, Kez. I think this is definitely the colour to go for. But if anyone's got any suggestions, I'm all ears. Like, I'll always give something a try. It is a nice colour though. That's a Kolinsky brush really paying off for me there in one stroke there. How neat and tidy and effortless that is. Even with a twitchy hand. What does everyone think? Yeah, the red is good. Yeah, cool. Jeff says the light colour does set off the red ground though, but I like the red edge. Don't know. Yeah, the lighter. I find a lighter colour really works, but I suppose that the ground is quite light, isn't it? Especially with the sandier colour is. So perhaps it's just a colour that makes everything stand out, doesn't necessarily have to be a light colour. I will obviously reinforce that by giving it a second coat, but I think that works. Kez, you are right, thank you very much. That is a nice and smooth job, and I am going to call that done. I am going to sit here and play with the colour of the ground, neaten it up a little bit, maybe I'll add a little bit of staining here and there. I have tried using things like Agrax Earthshade through airbrush or just by standard brush, and it hasn't always worked. I think maybe keeping it lighter is better. I'm going to try and put this lid back on because it hasn't worked, and I'm also going to try and have a little go with this colour here, and this colour might bring the cracked earth colour more to the colour of the Agrellan Badlands colour here. If I do like this colour, I can get it in cracked earth through Citadel. It's just expensive, obviously, but I also have colours like sandy colours that are very, very close to that as well, so I can do it, and I can add medium to this pigment, and I can also just paint it all that colour if I want to as well. But I just want to announce this is, I think, is a first for a very long time on Easy 8. I have finished a model. Thank you very much. Oh, I feel good about myself. It's actually been a really, really fun model to do. I've really enjoyed it. There's a lot to learn, there's a lot to improve on, but for a first, it's a very good first, and I think he's going to look, a whole unit of these is going to look really, really awesome. So yeah, excited to see them. Compare it to the original that my friend had painted. Again, while my friend is very talented, I much prefer my style, so yay! Lots of clapping going on in here. Out of this world, Models Minis, lots of clapping. Thanks, John. Staff says, I'm all built. I just need more Dunkel Yellow to paint them. Dunkel Gel. Just say dark yellow, man. Now the red frames, it says, Jeff. Yeah, you're right. It is the colour to use, isn't it? Dave says, it looks amazing, more clapping. Thanks, man. Nice. Well done, dude. Oh, guys, it's been a really busy night in the live chat. Up to 8 viewers now. That's quite unheard of. So thank you very much for coming along. Let me come away from here. We are done here. Yeah, thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. It's nice to have a nice busy live chat, and I am really stoked to kind of get this far on him. Like I say, I'm going to be tweaking around with the colours on the base. That the colours of the ground is something that I really want to work on. Working with pigments is something that I really need to get used to. I'm just going to have a little play. So if you are interested in coming and hanging out on Discord, there is a link just down there. Some people have reported issues with Discord. It's not an issue. It's just the way that the Discord works is that down the left-hand side there will be like when you first come into Discord, basically you've got to put a little thumbs up or react to the sentence as a kind of you're not a robot or you're not here to spam, and then you have free access to Discord, and it just takes a second to kind of get yourself set up like making a profile for anything, and then just search for Easy 8. So the link down there will take you right to it, and it's really, really easy to navigate. Down the side there are loads of different categories for you to choose from, for you to put photographs of all your work that you're working on. Maybe it's a website of a product, or maybe it's a tutorial link that you want to share. There's so many different categories that Luke Gallia, one of our viewers who's not online tonight, spent ages making Discord for me, for us, for you, so that you can kind of put up anything that you want, and you can kind of share stuff with the community at large, which was very kind of him, and it's brilliant. He's even put in there a whole channel just to quotes from my show, because I talk stupid. I don't know if you've noticed, I blabber a lot because it's a live show. So yeah, and that'll probably be one of the quotes that he puts in there, who knows. So like in the red, says John. Yeah, cheers, man, thank you very much. It really does work, I think. So yeah, get yourselves on over the Discord and share stuff. Come and join me in the live chat. One of the live chats there is I've got there's 3 different chat rooms that you can use for those busier evenings. I'm often in the commander seat, but there's also the driver seat and the gunner seat there as well if you want to go and chill out with other people other than me while I'm online. And I'm on there throughout the week just generally as well, so come and join me over at Discord. Of course, don't forget that we're not just on Discord or here on YouTube. We're on Facebook as well and on Instagram. I've not been very busy on there lately, but with lots of time to spare and doing work in the studio, etc., repairing the PC, getting the studio all changed up, trying to sort this microphone out. I've not had an awful lot of time lately, but I'm going to try and sort that out. So I'm going to be putting a picture up this guy maybe on Instagram as well. So do like us, do follow us on all of our platforms if you're so inclined. Share us, get the name out there, and of course subscribe here to the show, because it really helps me feel encouraged to make more of this show, and do just more stuff and kind of get more people involved. And it's just exciting, right, to have subscribers and followers and stuff. So yeah, hit the button if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you know when I go live, because sometimes I do it wrong. It's worth doing. And that's it from me this evening. I finished a model. I finished. I would love to see what you guys have been doing this evening, so if you have been working on something, stick a picture of it up on the schedule for tonight's show on Facebook. And until next week, my name's been Danny. You guys have been amazing. I'll see you soon. Stay safe, be kind, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. And of course, don't forget to keep on painting. Just paint. Just keep on going. So much to do.